as he tells a crack addict to,
Get the fuck out my face!
and as Doughboy's walking away.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Majay back here in another video. Today we're about to be getting into a video by Soap Studios. The video is going to be on Doughboy, the most overlooked character in Boyz in the Hood. I mean, did I really think Doughboy was the most overlooked character? I feel like he had a good run as a character. I don't know, maybe I should just see what type of points he's bringing up in this video. Let's just get into it.
Everybody in the hood wants to make it out, but no one ever talks about it. Not because they don't want to, but because no one ever listens. And Boyz in the Hood captures this perfectly, as it isn't just a movie about gang violence or survival, it's about the emotional war that plays out in the lives of young black men who grow up in environments that they didn't even choose. And in today's video, we're going to dive into 3 very important events that happened to the most impactful character in the movie, and how these events supply what his story means for not only the people around him in the movie, but the people of the world who struggle with similar fates. But before we dive into the events, we need to build a little context on the relationship between Doughboy and Ricky. From the start of the movie, Doughboy, a young kid who just got out of prison and has turned to the streets again, is presented as a clear parallel to his brother Ricky, who is a senior in high school hoping to escape the hood with his family through his athletic skill and SAT scores. And while Ricky represents hope, talent, and the chance to escape their environment, Doughboy is seen by many, including his very own mother, as the opposite, and views him as someone who chose the streets. But as the film unfolds, it becomes clear that Doughboy didn't choose the hood. It chose him. And deep down, he doesn't love it. He actually resents it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you can really tell that his mom in the movie, she was really on that head, bro. I feel like she looked at I felt she looked at his brother as more as like an accomplishment because like he had like a lot of better parallels about himself. He was doing good in school, and I guess like it's really sad, but like people really kind of feel this way toward their kids at times.
Which leads us to the car meet scene. So since Doughboy deep down resents the hood, this is the reason Doughboy always protects his brother Ricky with his own life. And we're able to see this in the car meet scene when Ricky is threatened by an opposing gang member. And this really represents how Doughboy views Ricky being able to make it out of the hood as something that he feels he needs to protect and keep sacred, as obviously he wants to see his brother succeed, but deep down he wants that sense of hope for everybody to make it out of the hood, including himself. And because Ricky's path always symbolized a real chance to break free from this lifestyle that's been placed on so many kids who grow up in the hood, this only intensifies Doughboy's will to try to protect his brother so that he can have a better life than he will. Yet we also see how differently these two brothers get treated based on their actions and their goals. And because this comparison keeps taking place, and Doughboy being viewed as unequal or below Ricky, Doughboy's feelings of inferiority and jealousy only intensify more and more. And this being fueled by the mother's clear favoritism creates an inner conflict with Doughboy, as although he loves his brother and wants to protect him, he also has a strong feeling of envy for him. And because this tension constantly is building up inside Doughboy, the only way he can release it is through fighting and violence, which is what leads Doughboy to initially shove Ricky and start the fight between them, which is a big reason why Ricky wasn't able to see his test scores, and also a big factor that led to Ricky's death. So after Ricky and Trey get the milk from the store, and before they can even see Ricky's essay.
Oh man. Bro, the whole story behind how this even got started was just crazy. Like, you get like he wants to protect his brother and everything, but like he at the same time he still gotta feel guidance. Like I said, it's behind the like how you parent your own kids. When you parent your own kids the right way, you know that's gonna be a good ass thing to do, to treat both of them equally and not try to show any types of favoritism, or it will just like lead to something like that. I mean, it won't like really lead to something, but it will lead to like at least one of them going down the wrong path. I like that this movie Boys in the Hood that like really teaches like stuff like this, and probably like taught like parents throughout the years, you know, everybody's in the wrong even if they try to like make it look right.
AT scores, he's killed in a drive-by. And
The
Doughboy's
iconic
reaction to
scene.
this is very interesting because at first he doesn't seem to be as sad as everyone else, and rather he's filled with immense rage and the strong desire to seek out revenge. And that same very night, he ends up killing Ricky's murderers, doing so in a move that seems instinctual rather than thought out. And we can
Damn.
see when
Yeah, this nigga's get back was just crazy as hell. That shows that a true gangster and you know his family meant everything to him. And going back to the guy that's with the pacifier in his mouth, he really had the most like tragic downfall. Well, no. Two people in this movie had the real tragic downfall. We had the dude that, you know, lifts the gun out the thing. He was really going through like real type of problems in his life, and he was basically killed in prison. I really felt bad learning that story, and I really feel bad for, you know, the guy with the pacifier in his mouth learning that he died too off like some crazy shit.
Doughboy actually attempts to show sadness and hug his mother, she tells him that it's his fault, and she begins to try to slap and hit him, which only brings his feelings of revenge and anger back. We see how Ricky's death leads Doughboy to fully surrender to a life of violence, and it really cements
Jeez.
his role in the cycle of the streets, where every death and murder only causes more bloodshed, anger, and murder. And we see how in a moment of pain, it's so easy for Doughboy to disregard his feelings of sadness and just replace it with anger and vengeance and revenge, as because he grew up in the hood, that's all he knows how to do. And although killing Ricky's murderers seems like the only thing that Doughboy can really do, he's unconsciously contributing to the never-ending cycle of the hood and sealing his fate that he will never make it out, and like many others in the
Oh,
hood,
shit.
becomes a walking corpse. Which leads us to the final major event in the movie, which is Doughboy's monologue. In Doughboy,
Bro, Doughboy's monologue, man, it was really sad because in a sense you learned that a parent just lost two of her sons to the streets, and one was like not really in the streets like that. You know, coming, getting revenge. Well, it also brings like a little sense of morality to it too, because getting revenge, it never ends up good for anybody. When they're in the streets, because like you already know somebody else, family member, is going to end up trying to retaliate, or another gang member is going to retaliate, and it ended up happening to Doughboy.
Doughboy's final monologue, the truth is revealed, and Doughboy shows his true feelings that the revenge didn't do anything. His brother is still dead, the violence hasn't stopped, and if anything, he only feels more empty and sad now. And as he begins to talk to Trey about a TV show that gave him a sense of realization, he shares his discovery that this constant loop of violence isn't about enemies, and it isn't about revenge, but it's about the environment that everybody is placed in, what they're born into, what people they know, what opportunities they're given. All come back to where they're from and what they're born into. And it's interesting because Doughboy reaches the conclusion that the outside world doesn't care about what's going on in the hood. They don't show it on TV. They don't broadcast the everyday death and struggles that come with it. And they don't understand the sacrifices and what it's like to grow up in such a violent place. And Doughboy now being able to see this loop and paradox of unfulfilling hatred, of not others, but where others have been placed, leads him to show his true view that he always hated and resented the hood, and never wanted to embrace it but was forced to by his surroundings. And just before Doughboy leaves one final time, he does two important things. As although Doughboy has made this realization and is now able to see this loop, he can't make it out of the hood, but two important things symbolize his change. As he tells a crack addict to
Get the fuck out my face!
and as Doughboy's walking away, he also pours out his bottle, which is very important because throughout the movie, his bottle has symbolized his immaturity and his involvement in the hood lifestyle. In Doughboy doing these two things and shifting his view from someone who didn't choose the streets but were surrounded by them, we get a sense of hope and a sense of innocence in Doughboy, that he's actually fully changed and he never was a bad person but was just placed in a bad area. And just when Doughboy starts to reject the violence and show that he wanted out all along, the cycle claims him too. A moment of growth is cut short, and in that, the film perfectly captures the tragedy of the hood, where it's not just the violence, but the way it kills all hope the moment it starts to bloom.
Oh man, this was a good video by Soap Studios. He been making some bangers lately, bro. But like I said, man, to like look at this character overall, you gotta like really think about a whole bunch of stuff that comes with his character and what it symbolizes, man. Because like he was just like, you know, product of the hood, and he was just like kind of going into this revenge thing angrily. And you know, if he was never involved, I don't like to blame Doughboy. I like, you know, parents try to like lead by example, but it's a moment in your life you got to stop blaming them when you get older. So I kind of, you can't really blame him when he was little, being a product, finding dead bodies and stuff. You got to really blame the mother for that, for playing like favoritism. And to that day of like, you know, Ricky dying, bruh, it was just terrible to see in a way. But Doughboy is a really good character when you think about it. But like, he never gets, I mean, I know there's like a lot of stuff about him online, like the character, but like he never really gets enough credit. I know people like to say that he's tough and shit, but like you gotta like admire like the character's deep meaning to it. But like, you know, when you when you try to like change and it's already too late, bro. You change when it's like already just done for, bro. That change comes in like weird ass settings, I feel like, and that change literally needs to like happen probably like in the beginning, because when that change happens too late, like you already like a marked target and you already probably killed somebody. The gang violence keeps going back and forth, and it's like a never-ending cycle. Everybody always says that, and it's true. But I like this video. Go check out Soap Studios' original video. If you want to see more, I'll react to some more videos when he drops some more. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. We on the road to 450.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?